Thanks for joining us. 22,000 Americans are dying every year overdosing on prescription painkillers. Now the country's National Safety Council has launched a campaign over what it's calling the worst drug crisis in American history.
Every one of those little pills represent a person that we lost. And I want to tell you about my son. Got addicted at the age of 18.
Somebody prescribed him a medication. None of us knew the consequences.
I lost my son Louis at age 24. He started with pain medication.
I thought because a doctor prescribed them that the doctor knew what he was doing.
I never actually thought about my addiction too much. Now it's really making me see things more clear.
This can happen to anyone. This can happen to you. Don't let it.
In 64 out of 100 cases, misuse began with people using opioids that were not prescribed to them. That's linked to the fact that almost 2/3 of Americans don't know that sharing opioid medicine is illegal. A National Safety Council program manager, Tess Benham, believes the problem is now out of control.
It was recently declared a public health emergency, and many organizations like the National Safety Council are taking action to find solutions and save lives. It's a multifaceted problem, which is why the National Safety Council developed our Stop Everyday Killers campaign. Opioid pain medications were involved in about 1/3 of drug overdose deaths last year, and overprescribing is definitely a factor. And so we're taking measures like implementing opioid prescribing guidelines, educating our doctors and nurses, but most importantly, starting a campaign like this to educate the public about the risks. We have less than 5% of the world population, but we consume more than 80% of the world's supply of opioids, and so it's a huge problem here in the United States. Everybody has a role to play, including our government, to begin to implement solutions that are going to save lives and help us end this crisis.
Pakistan's Air Force has warned it will shoot down any drones, including American ones, if they violate the country's airspace. It comes just 2 weeks after the U.S. reportedly conducted its latest airstrike on the country's border with Afghanistan.
We will not allow anyone to violate our airspace. I have ordered the Pakistan Air Force to shoot down drones, including those of the U.S., if they enter our airspace, violating the country's sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Pakistani officials add U.S. drone attacks are doing significant harm. Since 2004, almost 1,000 civilians are believed to have been killed by the strikes, including a number of children. We spoke to Talat Masood, a retired 3-star general in the Pakistani army. He notes Islamabad's attitude to Washington is changing.
In the near past, the United States has been playing a good cop, bad cop game with Pakistan. One official says something positive, the other gives strong threats. In the past, the drones have been attacking targets in Pakistan. Earlier, it was perhaps with the tacit approval of the government of Pakistan, but in the past couple of years, the government of Pakistan has not provided any such approval. The United States should actually consider and weigh its options, because it has been using Pakistan as an ally, and if it wants to turn against Pakistan, it will be detriment to the peace in the region.
Meanwhile, Pakistan's Air Force chief is also questioning whether the decades-long military engagement by the U.S. in the region is even helpful. Sohail Anand also slammed Washington's track record on promoting democracy abroad.
No outside power can engineer a democracy inside a country, nor is democracy the solution to every problem. Examples in Iraq and Libya are in front of us. After the fall of Gaddafi and Saddam, what happened in these countries? Did they get democracy?
It is Syria currently, and of course Yemen, Afghanistan, Iraq. All these countries, they have lost stability and they are in serious problems. In fact, at the moment, there are some scribes in the New York press or in the Washington press who are predicting that if Pakistan doesn't toe the line of the United States of America, a Syria-like situation may be created over here. because Pakistan cannot allow its territory to be used by others to engineer in the name of democracy any farcical moves which will destabilize the country.
And with the world's focus on the Middle East right now, the president of Lebanon's given an exclusive interview to us, touching on political turmoil, difficult neighbors and peace efforts. That's next week on the Alex Salmon Show.
How concerned are you as president of Lebanon about the possibility of further Israeli incursions into your country?
I think that after the July 2006 war, Israel will no longer attack Lebanon because it will not be able to penetrate the Lebanese front.
Last week in Italy, you said definitively that in your opinion as president of Lebanon, the immediate crisis was over. How confident are you of that position?
I am confident because there is no disagreement among the Lebanese about settling this crisis, and I don't think that those who created this crisis will repeat it again.
Bringing a lawsuit to a court is not always easy, especially when animals are involved. That's what a Danish landowner found out to his detriment when he lost a property damage claim over a number of beavers.
We were just doing our job.
And we are back in half an hour.